The entire story of the neighbor in No, I'm Not a Human. He is actually the very first person who knocks on your door and appears even before night 1. Our neighbor greets us, asking how life has been. We say it is the same as it ever was when our neighbor finally reveals what's going on. After a call with his cousin, he found out that something weird is happening with the sun and that people are crawling from underground called visitors. We ask what's happening with the sun, where he tells us he's as confused as us, even suggesting that it's going to explode. He then tells us his cousin told him to never be home alone, so he went out of his way to check on us. We let him inside and our neighbor tells us he's going to be waiting in the kitchen when we wake up. When morning comes, we approach him while he's sitting in our chair. He probably saw the news, as he once again iterates to never go outside and to let others in. We ask why we should let strangers inside our house, but our neighbor tells us that he heard from his cousin that there is a person going around asking if we are alone, and to always say no. We tell him that we hate dealing with people, but the neighbor tells us that we have no choice. He advises us to check everybody for visitor signs, making sure to take a careful look each time, and to not only rely on TV for information, but also look outside our windows. Our character asks what to do next, but our neighbor coldly responds to stay alive and hopes that this nightmare will end. He has hope in the government and tells us that we can stick together if we are forced outside the house. He gives us his phone number, which will be the only way we can learn about his story other than from looking out the window. Before he leaves, he gives us a case of beer, saying that it's from his brother-in-law. The next day we can call him, and he asks if we let a few people in yet, and we ask if he's taking people in too. Our neighbor says that he has to, even if his daughter doesn't like it. At night, we can see him playing with his daughter, but on the nearby window we can see the dead bodies of a few teenagers. When he was walking with his daughter, he accidentally stumbled upon it and finally realized how dangerous it is outside. We ask if his daughter is okay, and he isn't completely sure. Even with all of the weeds, his daughter ended up seeing one of their heads, and she can't be convinced it's just her imagination. That night, we can see a group of FEMA employees outside our neighbor's house, appearing to be taking soil samples. We call our neighbor the next day and he reveals what actually happened. They asked about the people staying at his house, then took one of his residents. We asked where they took them, and our neighbor was equally left in the dark. He was told they were taken for tests, and his trust for the government disappeared. We are about to hang up when he asks us for a favor. Our neighbor wants us to take care of his daughter if something happens to him. We promise that we will, and he thanks us. When we look through the window, we see his entire house in flames. His daughter knocks on the door and confirms that her father is in fact dead. Our neighbor so far is the only character in the entire game to have some sort of relationship with the protagonist. While they aren't the closest, the concern they show for each other might even be on the level of a friend.